Have you ever noticed that all the people you admire, everyone who has achieved something extraordinary in life, share one thing in common? They mastered something you're still struggling to understand. And no, it's not talent, it's not luck, it's not privilege, it's something much deeper and more unsettling. They learned how to trick their own brain. That's right. While you're out there fighting a daily battle against procrastination, laziness, and that inner voice that always convinces you to leave everything for tomorrow, these people discovered a secret that neuroscience has been proving for decades. And the most incredible part? You can do it too. Your brain can be reprogrammed to love exactly what you hate right now. Discipline. But before I reveal how this works, I need you to understand a brutal truth that no one has the courage to tell you. The reason you can't stick to a routine, the reason you quit everything you start, isn't a lack of willpower. It's because you're fighting against millions of years of evolution. Your brain was programmed to sabotage you, and it's winning that battle every single day. Think about it. How many times have you woken up determined to change your life? How many times have you promised yourself that this time would be different? That you were going to work out every day, study consistently, finally work on that dream project? And what happened? A week later, maybe two if you were really strong, everything went back to normal. The motivation vanished like smoke. And once again, you felt like a failure. But here's the part that's going to change everything for you. This pattern doesn't happen because you're weak. It happens because you don't understand how your brain truly works. You've been trying to win a game without knowing the rules, and the rules are incredibly simple, but unbelievably powerful. Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, spent years studying the neural mechanisms behind motivation and discipline. And do you know what he discovered? That discipline is not a moral quality. It's not about being a better or stronger person. It's about understanding your brain chemistry and using it to your advantage. It's about hacking the system. Your brain operates on a reward system driven by dopamine. Every time you experience pleasure, every time something gives you instant satisfaction, your brain releases dopamine. Social media, dopamine. Delicious food, dopamine. That Netflix episode you shouldn't be watching because you have work to do, huge dopamine hit. And here's the problem. Discipline, effort, hard work, everything you need to change your life doesn't release dopamine right away. In fact, your brain sees those activities as threats. That's why it's so hard to start. That's why you feel that physical resistance when you think about doing something productive. It's not laziness. It's your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But what if I told you that you can flip the script? What if you could train your brain to release dopamine exactly when you need to be disciplined? Dr. Wendy Suzuki, a neuroscientist at New York University, dedicated her career to studying how we can reshape our neural circuits. And she proved something revolutionary. Neuroplasticity isn't just a fancy word. It's your lifeline. Your brain can literally be rebuilt. New neural pathways can be formed. Old habits can be erased. But you need to know exactly what to do. Now pay very close attention, because what I'm about to reveal goes against everything you've ever been taught about discipline. It goes against those motivational videos that tell you to wake up early and suffer in silence. It goes against the romantic idea that you need to hate the process to deserve the result. That's a lie, and it's a dangerous lie that keeps you stuck. The truth is, the most disciplined people in the world don't suffer as much as you think. They're not constantly at war with themselves. They simply figured out how to trick their brain into wanting to do hard things. And before you think this is manipulation or cheating, let me tell you something. This is exactly what you should be doing. Want to know the first secret? The first step to hacking your brain and making it fall in love with discipline? Then stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal 6 neuroscience-backed strategies that will completely transform your relationship with effort. And the last one, Strategy number 6 is so powerful that I guarantee it alone can change your life in the next 30 days. But before we continue, if you truly want to master your mind and build the life you deserve, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the like button on this video because you're going to want to save this content and watch it again. And trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew about discipline. Let's get straight to the point. The first strategy to trick your brain is so simple that you'll wonder why no one ever told you this before. And the answer is simple, because the self-help industry doesn't want you to know. They want you to keep buying courses, reading books, and watching motivational seminars. But the truth is found in science, not in catchy phrases. Strategy number 1 is called reward anchoring, and it works like this. Your brain can't tell the difference between a real reward and a reward you artificially create. Sounds crazy? Let me explain. When you associate a difficult activity with something that gives you immediate pleasure, your brain starts releasing dopamine, not because of the reward, but because of the activity itself. Dr. B.J. Fogg, founder of Stanford's Persuasive Technology Lab, spent 20 years studying habit formation, and he discovered that small, immediate celebrations after a desired behavior create a powerful neural loop. You don't need to wait months to see results. You don't need to rely only on willpower. You need to trick your brain into thinking it's already being rewarded. Here's what you're going to do starting today. Choose an activity you know you should be doing, but always avoid. It could be studying, writing, working out, anything. Now, immediately after doing that activity, even if it's only for 5 minutes, you're going to give yourself a micro-reward. It could be your favorite song, a small piece of chocolate, 2 minutes on social media, whatever works for you. But it has to be immediate. It has to happen right after the effort. What happens next is fascinating. After a few repetitions, your brain starts to anticipate the reward. It releases dopamine, not when you get the reward, but while you're doing the activity. It's the exact same mechanism that makes a dog salivate when it hears a bell, even before the food arrives. Pavlov discovered this more than 100 years ago, yet most people still don't use this knowledge in their own lives. But pay attention, because here's the trick that separates the people who succeed from those who quit. The reward needs to be small and consistent. If you give yourself a huge reward, like eating an entire pizza after working out for 15 minutes, you break the circuit. Your brain associates the pleasure with the food, not with the exercise. It has to be subtle. It has to be something your brain registers as a direct consequence of the effort. Strategy number 2 will surprise you even more. It's called identity reframing, and it's based on the studies of psychologist James Clear and neuroscientist Sam Harris. Here's the truth you need to accept. You won't become disciplined by doing disciplined things. You'll do disciplined things when you become a disciplined person. It sounds like the same idea, but it's not. The difference is in the order, and that order changes everything. Let me show you how this works in practice. When you tell yourself you're going to wake up early tomorrow, you're trying to change a behavior, and behaviors are hard to change because they come from beliefs. But when you tell yourself that you are the kind of person who wakes up early, you're changing the belief. And when the belief changes, the behavior naturally follows. Your brain has something called confirmation bias. It looks for evidence to confirm what you already believe about yourself. If you see yourself as a lazy person, your brain will find millions of examples to prove that. But if you start seeing yourself as disciplined, even if you're not there yet, your brain will begin searching for behaviors that confirm this new identity. And how do you make that shift? Through small, accumulated victories. Every time you do something, no matter how small, that a disciplined person would do, you're casting a vote for your new identity. It's like an internal election. Every action is a vote, and eventually the new identity wins. Here's something most people don't realize. You don't need massive transformations. You don't need to change everything at once. In fact, trying to change everything at once is the fastest way to fail. What you need is microscopic consistency, doing that small thing every single day without fail, because every repetition is evidence to your brain that you really are that person. Strategy number 3 is where the real magic happens. It's called difficulty manipulation, and it's based on the concept of flow state studied by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Here's the problem. You're making everything too hard, and when something feels too difficult, your brain activates the stress system. Cortisol rises, you enter fight or flight mode, and guess what your natural reaction is? Flight, procrastination, giving up. But here's the secret nobody tells you. Discipline isn't born from extreme suffering. It's born from the ideal level of challenge. There is an exact point where a task is hard enough to engage you, but easy enough not to paralyze you. And when you find that point, your brain enters a flow state. Dopamine, norepinephrine, and anandamide are released. You become completely absorbed. Time flies without you noticing, and best of all, you actually enjoy doing it. So stop trying to be heroic. Stop trying to start working out 2 hours a day when you've never exercised in your life. Stop trying to write an entire book when you've never managed to write 3 paragraphs in a row. Start ridiculously small, so small that it's impossible to fail. And then increase gradually. If you've watched this far and you're starting to understand how your brain really works, leave a comment saying, "I'm reprogramming my mind." I want to see how many of you are truly committed to this transformation. And if this content is making sense to you, hit the like button right now. That helps more people discover these strategies that can change lives. But wait, because there are still 3 more powerful strategies to go. And number 6, which I'll reveal at the end, is so effective that scientists at the University of California have proven it can reprogram your brain in less than 21 days. Stay with me. Now let's talk about strategy number 4, and this one is going to turn your entire world upside down. It's called Temporal Perspective Inversion, and it's based on the groundbreaking research of neuroscientist Daniel Gilbert on how our brain processes the future. Pay close attention, because this is going to explain why you always choose immediate pleasure instead of long-term success. Your brain has a serious problem with time. It simply cannot value future rewards the same way it values immediate ones. There's even a scientific name for this: hyperbolic temporal discounting. Basically, your brain reduces the perceived value of anything that's far away in time. $100 today feels more valuable to your brain than $200 a month from now. Does that make mathematical sense? No, but that's exactly how we're wired. And that's precisely why you choose to watch one more episode of a show instead of working on your project. That's why you eat that dessert, even though you know you want to lose weight. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's simply the way your brain was programmed to survive in an environment where the future was uncertain and the present was all that mattered. But here's the trick that changes the game completely. You need to bring the future into the present. You need to make your brain feel future consequences right now. And how do you do that? Through neurophysiological visualization. This isn't that new age idea of imagining yourself rich and happy. This is something much deeper and scientifically proven. Dr. Srini Pillai, a neuroscientist from Harvard, showed that when you visualize something in a vivid and detailed way, your brain activates the same regions that would be activated if you were actually living that experience. That means you can literally feel future regret today. You can feel the pain of not having done what you should have done. And when you feel that pain in the present, it becomes just as real as the discomfort of making the effort. Here's the exercise you're going to do. Before you decide to procrastinate, before you choose the easy path, close your eyes for 30 seconds and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Not the successful version of you, but the version that did nothing. The version that kept putting things off. The version that wasted 5 more years of life. Feel that. Really feel the frustration, the anger, the regret. Let your body experience those emotions. What happens next is incredibly powerful. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real emotion and a vividly imagined one, so it begins to associate procrastination with pain. And when something causes pain, you naturally avoid it. It's the same principle as reward anchoring, but reversed. You are creating a neural punishment for indiscipline. Now, strategy number 5 is brutal in its simplicity. It's called choice elimination, and it's based on studies about decision fatigue by psychologist Roy Baumeister. Here's something you need to understand. Willpower is a limited resource. Every decision you make throughout the day drains a little bit of that resource. And when it runs out, you automatically fall back into your old patterns. How many decisions do you think you make in a single day? Studies show it's over 35,000. From what to wear to what to eat, every single choice consumes mental energy. And by the end of the day, when you need discipline the most to do that important task, your brain is exhausted. It's no surprise that most people give up at night. So here's what truly disciplined people do differently. They don't rely on willpower. They eliminate the need for willpower by removing choices. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Barack Obama did the same. It wasn't about style. It was a neural strategy. Fewer decisions about insignificant things means more energy for the decisions that actually matter. But you need to go beyond just clothes. You need to automate your life as much as possible. The same morning routine every day. The same schedule for work, exercise, and meals. Does that sound boring? Like a prison? It's actually the exact opposite. That rigid structure frees your mind to be creative where it truly counts. It removes decision fatigue from the equation. Think about monks. Why do you think they follow such strict routines? It's not just religious tradition. It's because they discovered, thousands of years ago, something neuroscience has only recently confirmed. The less you have to think about what to do, the more you can actually get done. And here's the part most people get completely wrong. They think they need motivation to create discipline, but it's exactly the opposite. Discipline creates motivation. When you remove choices and simply act, without questioning, without negotiating with yourself, you begin to build momentum, and momentum creates more momentum. Professor Dan Ariely from Duke University spent years studying irrational behavior, and he discovered something fascinating. We are terrible at predicting what will motivate us. We think we need to feel inspired to start. But the truth is, starting, even without inspiration, is what creates motivation. Action comes first. Feelings come later. So stop waiting for the perfect motivation. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting until you feel ready. You will never feel ready. Your brain will always have an excuse. What you need to do is make action inevitable through the elimination of choices. When there is no choice, there is no internal conflict, no mental debate. You simply execute. Create protocols. If it's Monday at 6 in the morning, you work out. It's not a decision, it's a protocol. If it's 9 at night, you turn off your phone and read. Protocol. The more you turn desired behaviors into automatic protocols, the less you depend on that willpower that always abandons you when you need it most. And here's something crucial you need to understand. In the first few days, it will be hard. Your brain will resist. It will create 1,000 excuses. It will make you feel uncomfortable. That's normal. That's expected. But if you follow the protocol, completely ignoring your feelings, something magical happens in about 2 to 3 weeks. The behavior becomes automatic, and when something is automatic, it no longer requires willpower. Now take a deep breath, because we're reaching the final strategy. Number 6, and this one is the most powerful of all. It's the one that will tie together everything you've learned so far and turn it into a complete system of brain reprogramming. Before I reveal strategy number 6, I need you to understand something fundamental. Everything we've talked about so far, all these brain reprogramming techniques, they work. Science proves it. Thousands of people have already transformed their lives using these exact principles. But there is one element that determines whether you'll be just another person who tries and gives up, or whether you'll truly change your life. And that element is hidden in something you never imagined. Strategy number 6 is called Reframing Discomfort, and it's based on the groundbreaking studies of Dr. Kelly McGonigal on stress and the research of David Goggins on mental limits. Get ready, because what I'm about to tell you goes against everything modern society has taught you about comfort and happiness. Here is the raw, honest truth. You've been lied to. You've been sold the idea that you should avoid discomfort at all costs, that you deserve to be comfortable all the time, that any unpleasant feeling is a sign that something is wrong. And that, my friend, is the biggest lie you've ever believed, because it is exactly this endless pursuit of comfort that has been keeping you trapped in a mediocre life. Your brain interprets discomfort as danger. It's a survival mechanism. When you feel physical or mental discomfort, your limbic system sets off alarms. Cortisol is released. Your amygdala screams at you to stop, to retreat, to seek safety, and you obey. Every single time. That's why you quit the gym when it starts to hurt. That's why you stop studying when it gets difficult. That's why you run back to your comfort zone whenever things become challenging. But here's the secret that separates winners from losers. Extraordinary people don't feel less discomfort than you do. They don't have special genetics that make them immune to pain. What they have is a completely different interpretation of what discomfort means. And when you change that interpretation, you literally change the chemical response in your brain. Dr. Kelly McGonigal conducted a fascinating study. She took 2 groups of people and put them in stressful situations. To one group, she said stress was harmful, that it increased the risk of disease, that they should avoid it. To the other group, she explained that stress is the body preparing for a challenge, that it's a sign of growth, that it's positive. Guess what happened? The second group had completely different physiological responses. Same situation, different interpretation, different brain chemistry. That means you can hack your response to discomfort. You can train your brain to interpret the pain of effort, not as a danger signal, but as a signal of progress. And when you do that, something extraordinary happens. Your brain stops fighting discomfort and starts seeking it, because it understands that discomfort equals growth. Here's the exercise that will change your life. The next time you feel that mental resistance, that voice telling you to stop, to quit, to procrastinate, I want you to do the following. Stop. Take a deep breath and say to yourself out loud, this is growth. This discomfort I'm feeling right now is my brain being rebuilt. Every second I stay in this discomfort, I become a different person, a better person, a stronger person. Sounds too simple to work? That's exactly what makes it so powerful. You are literally reprogramming your internal narrative. You are changing the meaning your brain assigns to discomfort, and when the meaning changes, the experience changes. This isn't shallow positive thinking. This is applied neuroplasticity. David Goggins, former Special Forces soldier and extreme endurance athlete, talks about something called the 40% rule. He says that when your mind tells you that you've reached your limit, that you can't go any further, you're actually only at 40% of your true capacity. The other 60% is hidden behind a wall of discomfort that your brain built to protect you. But you don't need protection, you need progress, and progress lives on the other side of discomfort. It always has, it always will. There are no shortcuts, there is no easy way. The only difference between you and the people you admire is that they learn to love discomfort, not tolerate it, not endure it, love it. And how do you learn to love something? Through repeated exposure combined with reframing. Every time you choose to do the hard thing, every time you refuse to run from discomfort, you are sending a clear message to your brain. This is not dangerous. This is good. This is what we want. And after enough repetitions, your brain finally understands. It stops resisting and starts cooperating. Think about how you learned to like coffee. The first time you tried it, it was probably terrible, bitter, strange, but you kept drinking it. Why? Because you knew there was a benefit. And eventually, your brain associated the taste of coffee with those benefits. Now you love coffee. The taste didn't change. Your interpretation did. The same thing happens with discipline. You don't need to wait until you naturally like it. You need to force exposure while consciously reframing the experience. And after enough time, your brain will literally start releasing dopamine when you do hard things. It's not magic. It's pure neuroscience. But there's a crucial detail here. You cannot lie to yourself. If you do the hard thing while internally complaining, while feeling sorry for yourself, while seeing yourself as a victim, you are reinforcing the negative narrative. You must genuinely, in the moment of discomfort, recognize that this is growth, that this is exactly what you want, that this is the path. And yes, in the beginning it will feel forced. It will feel like you're tricking yourself. But keep going, because here is the final truth I need you to accept. Your brain does not know the difference between a natural belief and a cultivated belief. If you repeat something enough times, with enough emotion, with enough consistency, it becomes true to your nervous system. So the next time you need to do something difficult, the next time every fiber of your being screams at you to stop, remember, this is the moment. This is the moment you are training your brain to love discipline, not tomorrow, not when it gets easier, now, in this exact second of discomfort. Now that you understand the 6 fundamental strategies to reprogram your brain, I need to show you how to put all of this together into a system that actually works. Because here's the problem. Information without implementation is just entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to transform you. Let me tell you a real story that perfectly illustrates everything we've talked about so far. There's a study conducted by University College London that followed people trying to build new habits. Do you know how long it took, on average, for a behavior to become automatic? It wasn't 21 days like everyone keeps repeating. It was 66 days, more than 2 months of consistent repetition. And here's the most revealing part. The people who made it to the end weren't more disciplined at the beginning. They didn't have more willpower. What they had was a system. They understood they couldn't rely on motivation. They knew their brain would resist. So they created an environment and a structure that made success inevitable. Let me show you exactly how you're going to do this. First, you're going to choose one behavior. Just one, not 3, not 5. 1. This is the mistake that destroys most attempts at change. People want to transform their entire life all at once. Wake up early, work out, meditate, eat healthy, study, work on side projects. And what happens? The brain goes into overload. You manage to keep it up for a week, and then you completely collapse. So choose the behavior that will have the biggest impact on your life. That one thing that, if you did it consistently for 90 days, would change everything. For some people it's exercise. For others it's studying a specific skill. For others it's waking up early. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it's only one thing. Now take that behavior and apply the difficulty manipulation strategy I taught you. Reduce the difficulty to the point where it becomes ridiculously easy. If you want to start writing, don't begin with 1,000 words a day. Start with 50. If you want to work out, don't begin with an hour at the gym. Start with 10 minutes of walking. The goal isn't immediate results. The goal is flawless repetition. Here's something that goes against all logic, but science proves it. It's better to do something ridiculously small every single day than to do something big once in a while, because you're not trying to achieve a specific result in the first 66 days. You're trying to reprogram your brain, and reprogramming requires repetition, not intensity. Once you've defined your minimum viable behavior, you're going to implement reward anchoring. Choose something small but enjoyable that you'll do immediately after completing the behavior, and be religious about it. every day, no exceptions. Behavior, reward. Behavior, reward. You are creating a neural circuit. You are teaching your brain that this activity leads to pleasure. At the same time, you're going to use temporal perspective inversion. Every day, before doing the behavior, you're going to close your eyes for 30 seconds and visualize yourself in two scenarios. First, you, 90 days from now, having done this every single day. Feel the pride, feel the transformation, feel the confidence that comes from keeping a promise to yourself. Then, visualize yourself 90 days from now having quit. Feel the disappointment, feel the regret, feel the frustration of being the same person you've always been. This double visualization creates a powerful emotional contrast. Your brain starts to see the behavior not as a neutral choice, but as the difference between two radically different futures. And when the stakes feel that high, it becomes much harder to choose the wrong path. Now apply choice elimination. You're going to decide exactly when and where you'll perform this behavior. Don't leave it vague. Don't say you'll do it sometime during the day. Choose a specific time. Choose a specific place. Turn it into a non-negotiable protocol. If you decided you'll do it at 6 in the morning in your living room, then at 6 in the morning you are in the living room doing it. No internal debate, no negotiation. And here comes the hardest part, but also the most important. You're going to use discomfort reframing every time resistance shows up, and it will show up, especially in the early days. You'll wake up and your brain will have 1,000 excuses. You're tired, you didn't sleep well, you have more important things to do. You can do it later, you can start tomorrow. When those voices appear, and they will, you're not going to argue with them. You're not going to try to convince them. You're simply going to recognize the discomfort and say, this is growth. My brain is being reprogrammed right now. And then you're going to do the behavior anyway, not because you feel like it, but because you decided to. And decisions don't depend on feelings. The psychology professor from the University of Toronto, Jordan Peterson, talks about something crucial. He says, you should treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Think about that. If you had a child and they told you they didn't want to brush their teeth because they didn't feel like it, would you let them skip it? Of course not. You'd make them brush because you know it's good for them, regardless of how they feel. So why don't you do the same for yourself? Why do you let your momentary feelings destroy your future? You need to become the parent of yourself. You need to make decisions based on what's best for you in the long term, not on what feels more comfortable right now. And then you need to implement those decisions with firmness, but also with compassion. Firmness means no negotiation. It means that when it's time to do the behavior, you do it, period. Compassion means recognizing that it's hard. It means not judging yourself when discomfort shows up. It means understanding that you're fighting against millions of years of evolutionary programming, and that's not easy for anyone. But here's the liberating truth. It gets easier, not immediately, not magically, but progressively. Every day you stick to the protocol, the neural circuits get stronger, the resistance decreases. What felt like torture in the first week becomes tolerable in the third. What was tolerable in the first month becomes natural in the second. And then something magical happens. You wake up on a random day, 2 or 3 months after you started, and you realize you no longer need to force yourself. You realize that the behavior that used to be a daily battle is now just part of who you are. Your brain has been successfully rewired. It now loves discipline. But you have to get there. You have to cross the valley of discomfort. There is no shortcut. And anyone who promises you results without effort is lying. What I'm offering you isn't easy. It's effective, and there is a huge difference. So here we are at the final moment. The moment when you need to make a decision that will define the next months, maybe even years of your life. And that decision isn't about whether you're going to try. It's about whether you're truly going to commit. Because here's the truth no one wants to hear. Most people who watch this video all the way to this point won't do anything with this information. They'll feel a rush of motivation right now. They might even plan to start tomorrow, but a week from now, they'll be in exactly the same place. And do you know why? Because knowledge without action is just the illusion of progress. You've watched for 30 minutes. You've learned 6 powerful strategies backed by neuroscience. You now understand how your brain works. You've seen exactly what you need to do. But none of that matters if you don't take action. And I'm not talking about taking action next week when you feel more ready. I'm talking about taking action today, right now, within the next 60 minutes. Here is your immediate action plan. Grab a piece of paper and a pen right now. Not mentally, not on your phone. A real piece of paper and a real pen. Write down one thing. Just one, that you're going to do every single day for the next 90 days. That one thing you know would change everything if you did it consistently. Write it in big letters. I am the type of person who does this every day. Now write the exact time you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, and what your immediate micro-reward will be. Tape that paper somewhere you'll see it every day. On your bathroom mirror, on the fridge door, on your computer screen, wherever works. That paper is your contract with yourself, and contracts must be honored. Next, set an alarm on your phone for the time you chose. And when that alarm goes off tomorrow, you have exactly 5 seconds to physically move toward taking action. Mel Robbins, best-selling author and motivational speaker, calls this the 5-second rule. Your brain takes about 5 seconds to come up with a convincing excuse. If you move before that, you win. And here's something crucial that will make all the difference. Find someone to hold you accountable. It could be a friend, a family member, or even someone in the comments of this video. Tell that person exactly what you're going to do and ask them to check in on you. External accountability multiplies your chances of success. Because now, it's not just you against yourself, it's you with support. In the comments right now, I want you to write, I commit to doing this specific thing every day for 90 days. Be specific, be public, because when you declare a commitment publicly, you create positive social pressure. Your brain hates breaking a public promise. Use that to your advantage. And during these 90 days, every time you complete the behavior, mark an X on a calendar. Jerry Seinfeld, the legendary comedian, used this technique to force himself to write jokes every single day. He said, after a few days, you have a chain. Keep going and the chain gets longer. You'll love seeing that chain grow, especially when it reaches a few weeks. Your only job is not to break the chain, but let's be realistic. There will be bad days. Days when you won't feel like doing it. Days when everything will feel pointless. And on those days, remember what we talked about regarding reframing discomfort. Those hard days aren't obstacles. They are the most important days. Because when you stick to the plan on the difficult days, you're sending the most powerful message possible to your brain. Nothing can stop me. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman talks about something called effort-based neuroplasticity. Basically, your brain only changes when it detects that you're pushing beyond what feels comfortable. So the easy days maintain the habit. But the hard days, the ones when you do it even without motivation, are the days that truly transform your brain. And here is the final promise I'm making to you. If you follow this system exactly as I've described it, if you don't skip days, if you use all 6 strategies together, in 90 days, you will be a fundamentally different person. Not because you will have achieved some huge external goal, but because you will have proven something to yourself that changes everything. You have control over your own mind. That is the real transformation. It's not about the muscles you built or the project you finished. It's about the unshakable confidence that comes from knowing that when you decide to do something, you do it. No matter how you feel, no matter the circumstances, you do it because you are disciplined. And discipline is now your identity. So let me ask you one final question. Who do you want to be 90 days from now? Do you want to be just another person who tried and quit, someone who had access to knowledge but did nothing with it? Or do you want to be one of the rare few who actually change, who take information and turn it into real transformation? The choice is yours. It always has been, and it always will be. No one can do this for you. No video, no book, no course. Only you can decide that enough is enough. Enough wasted time. Enough unrealized potential. Enough being less than what you're capable of being. And if you decide yes, if you decide you're ready for this journey, that you're going to train your brain to love discipline and build the life you truly want, then welcome. Welcome to the rare group of people who stop talking and start doing, who stop dreaming and start building. Subscribe to this channel right now if you want to keep receiving content that truly transforms, not just entertains. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message, and watch the next 2 videos that will appear on your screen. One on how to build unbreakable focus, and another on how to eliminate procrastination permanently. Because discipline is only the beginning. There is an entire high-performance system waiting for you. I'll see you in the next video. And more importantly, I'll see you in the comments, where you're going to declare your commitment. 90 days, 1 behavior, 0 excuses. Let's start right now.